had a number of queens. I've had more people from out of state on this season of things. I'm trying to think. Who's been on and like what's the pedigree been like? Pedigree is probably a weird word to think about talking about KQ players. Oh, is their pedigree? I wonder. But I mean, obviously, even considering COVID and what's going on right now, no one's really traveling and doing anything. But like, you've been holding top queen national scene title championship whatever who's from BB4 during this point, and I just kind of wonder, is the crown heavy like with that much time? And like
it's funny because the only team that has won nationals twice won it twice, right? So that means that they were like the 2-year running champions by the time like BB3 hit. So there's no way we're getting a Bumble Bash before November of this year.
No, there's no way.
Which will mean that by only winning once, my team will be tied for the number of years held consecutively as the reigning champion.
That's true, man. No lies detected from what I can tell. It's fucking hilarious.
There's one hole in this. The individual players are able to say that they are the longest reigning individual champion.
Right. Yeah.
Because there were 2 players, Carissa and Turbo, who won BB3.
It gets to be pretty wild when you put it that way. I'm joined, ladies and gents, by Woody Stanfield, who I always see the field and I see an S and I always want to go Seinfeld on it. But it's not Seinfeld.
I got that in my
You get that, really?
In my life,
it's just it's not even close. It's like, it's not Seinfeld.
It's not. It's not close.
It's not remotely close. Where do you get that? Do you get really funny and people just start saying, oh, or is it just based off the name?
So Seinfeld has only happened like a couple times, and every time it always happens exactly like you just approached it.
Really?
Where it's like, oh, like sometimes I'll get like Stanfield. Oh, that's kind of like Seinfeld, or something like that. I'm like, no. One time, I think it was like my high school history teacher or something was like talking about name etymology throughout history.
Okay.
You know, the way that like Jackson means like son of Jack. You know, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And he started doing it with people in the room, like, well, your last name's this, that probably came from like this. And for mine, he was like, probably a derivative of Seinfeld.
Derivative.
Probably Seinfeld, Stanfield, you know? And I'm like, okay, sure.
I gotta tell you, I don't see the logic there. I hear what you're saying. I'm picking it up, teacher, but I don't see it. Well, let me get into some stuff, man, because first of all, this is Lazy J. God damn, you got a fancy-ass snifter, too. All right, what are you drinking? What are you drinking in there?
So this is, I'm drinking beer, actually.
Beer? We got the goblet.
Pretty big mug.
What is that, a porter?
This is it's actually an IPA.
Get out.
Because
That's a thick ass.
It is a black IPA. I have a bottle here. It's Bell's Black Hearted, and it says Black India Pale Ale. So black IPAs I really like black IPAs.
I didn't even know that there was a thing called black IPAs.
Yeah, the black IPAs and black lagers, largely they are, if you look them up, you'll see like tons of articles by like all those places people can just write articles for, like BuzzFeed and stuff.
Right.
And the conversation is always like, black IPA, the lie of a beer, what's your opinion, is it real or are they deceiving you? And the whole thing is just like some beer styles being like, well, actually you can't have a black IPA because blah blah blah, black is reserved for this vein of porters and stouts and blah blah blah.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, and I think what it is you brew it typically the same that you would an IPA, but then you malt it with malts, like roasted malts that you would use in like a porter or a stout.
Okay.
So it gets like some of those fuller
pulls that
notes
color.
While still, yeah, so it's like on the tongue, it tastes like an IPA, and then it kind of finishes with that roasted flavor.
That sounds a lot better than like, you remember when Burger King was like dishing out that black burger for Halloween? You remember that?
About that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to bring that back to your recollection. It's all squid ink. That's where I go, you know. It's just all squid ink. Black eggs, squid ink. Burgers, squid ink. It's fine. But no, that's
so funny.
Black. I've got I'm back on my basic bullshit with my bullet over here. I was supposed to stop by the store and get some Coke at least, because the wife was like, "Listen, I want one of these cocktails, damn it, but I want Coke in mine." And I'm like, "All right, I got you." And then I was like, "But I'm late for the Lazy J." And then and then I was here, you know, and there's no Coke,
so
but I'm still alive, huh? So, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Some of the stuff. Oh no, go ahead.
I watched the last edition of the
Sam?
Lazy J with Domish.
With Dom, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, was Sam before that? Oh, my understanding of time is so messed up.
It's, you know, it's
Sam
relative.
After that?
It's relative. No one knows when the Lazy J lands. You never know when it's coming. It's fine. It's fine.
But I heard Domish and you talking about Bullet.
Yeah.
And I went through this like series of emotional turbulence.
Oh.
So like I like whiskey and bourbon decently.
Okay.
My brother who went to college in Kentucky is a huge whiskey and bourbon fan. And like enormous into it. And we actually ended up talking about, because Bullet was like his favorite bourbon, and then he stopped buying it because the Bullet family has actually like had this really turbulent and negative relationship with their lesbian daughter.
No.
Hollis Bullet.
No.
Specifically over her being gay. I know. I feel bad doing this to you. I feel bad doing this to you.
But Woody.
But you set the name on stream, and it's like everyone's hearing Bullet. So I know.
Listen, you know, this wouldn't be the first time on this show that I've learned a thing or two. And I've learned a thing or two. So I'll take this time to say that if I'm talking bourbon, and you mentioned all of the favorites and whatever, you know what the best bourbon is, I feel like? And now I'm going to say it, and I hope to God that this family hasn't done something terrible.
Yeah. I am not. That is the only bourbon family I have any knowledge of and can name any people there.
Okay, but Basil Hayden's, that is good bourbon.
I don't know that. Do you know where they're distilled out?
It's one of the, I think it's Kentucky. It's like in that same, you know, American blend of the mash. But yeah, it's Basil Hayden, really, really good, really smooth, very drinkable. Versus this gasoline, which I'm still gonna drink because it's already in the cup. But I've learned a thing. So listen, this is paying off for itself. Thank you, Woody, for the encouragement and the knowledge. Just like Queens, right? We're always learning. Talk to me about some KQ Black, man. So obviously we're talking about the black IPAs, so we can segue straight into that. You COVID hit, no one's doing anything. Killer Queen Black came out, and there's the love-hate of, but the arcade, but the other game, and online, and but no. So how did you get into it? And then like, where are you at now? If you could like tell me in terms of KQA and like the scene and whatever, because I'll be the first one to say, I tried the demo. Or the beta. I tried the beta. I went and played it. The mechanics are different. It's not a bad game, but is not for me. I need my little, you know, hovers and my micros, and it's a lightning fast game. Like, goodness gracious, you can move so fast. And the berries go in fast, and the dunks are fast. Everything's just on acid. It's super fast. But tell me, how did you like segue into that? Because KQB came out of literal nowhere. And then some folks adopted it, some folks don't, but you're on the first end of the stick. So how did that work?
So funny enough, I mean, I'm probably one of the latest comers to KQB when it comes to Killer Queen arcade players.
Okay.
Moving to that community and taking it very regularly. I actually don't know of anyone who played arcade initially who started playing Killer Queen Black after me. I can't really even think of anyone.
Man, so you're like the last of the last samurai.
Yeah.
Right now. Okay, cool.
Don't Tom Cruise me.
No. Nice call. Just checking you, man. Just checking. You got great hair, though. We were talking about the hair at the beginning. It's great. It's great hair. I was wondering, like, is he still gonna have the blonde and it's still hanging on? It's
so
grown
long.
a lot though. It's grown a lot. Like I can tell where, man, I can like see your years. That's where BB4 started, right there. That's wild.
That's so funny.
But please continue. Killer Queen Black. You're getting into it. You're the only one KQ Arcade.
Yeah, I think I'm the most recent. But what's funny about that is I was actually one of the first people to ever play the game back before beta release.
Whoa,
Killer
okay.
Queen Black, Liquidbit did a presentation at, would have had to have been, I think they released in 2019, right? So 2018.
Okay.
Like mid-year of 2018, there was a Bit Bash is a convention in Chicago for indie video game developers.
Okay.
In 2018, they didn't do Bit Bash. They did a bunch of small Bit Bash Presents things as they were like scaling back from the full project. But at one of those, Liquidbit went and had their setup there, 4v4, and I went and played that. And I played like as much as I possibly could between everyone else, like need to get into rotation. And it was amazing. I loved it so much. I was like, this is super cool. This is different. This is unique. It's really interesting.
They add some really cool mechanics. Like I'll definitely give that. It changes the game enough where it keeps your interest.
Oh yeah. I mean, and they gave to the queen and every sword warrior more mobility. Yeah. Which is like transforms the game because KQA is such a specific positioning thing. And so if you add mobility to that, you increase the chances that people can cross under other people. It's completely changes the way that it's played. But so at Bit Bash, I got to play it a bunch. I loved it. And then very shortly after that was when it went to closed beta. Or maybe they call it open beta or whatever. Like you had to get select keys. And I played that a little bit, and I hated it. I was like,
it was a different build? They changed the build?
So what it was is latency. Because when we played at Big Bad Presents, it was all local. Right, that makes sense. Everyone was in the same place. They were doing another computer probably, or maybe it was two switches hooked up. I can't even remember. But then that was like when most Killer Queen Arcade players experienced Killer Queen Black was we all got beta keys because we were like plugged in. The developers knew us. There was like take some beta keys. And that was when most people who stopped playing Black did so because they had such negative experiences with the latency and lag. And it's hard to be like, which everyone knew, of course, is like, well, they're not putting a ton of money into servers right now because they're doing a beta. Right. And so this part's going to get better. This part's going to get way better. But I think when you play arcade and you're used to like, there's lag, but it's way different, right? You know, that is like you're only worried about like monitor lag or input lag, right? From what you used to do, which is so different than like your opponent being at a different place than they appear to be.
Yeah, man. Online latency is wild, and that's very accurate and also strange. Newhouse is in the chat too. He says he agrees KQB is better local, and I picked it up kind of at the point you were saying where the beta keys were going out. I don't remember where I got one. I think someone gave me one, or I don't remember, but there was no shortage of beta keys. Everyone was playing KQB. They wanted as many people as they could. And so I got in there and I'm playing. I'm like, yeah, all right. But yeah, it was kind of the similar experience for me than what you're describing. But to your, in your defense, to your credit, I never played Killer Queen Black locally on a Switch, like on the console or whatever consoles they're out on now. I only played the beta on PC on Steam, when it came out. So that's been my only experience with the game. So maybe I'm not the best for that.
Yeah. So I think that was the biggest initial off-putting thing for Killer Queen Arcade players going to Killer Queen Black. And then, of course, like most video game retention has to do with first experiences. Yeah. Like, just across the board, when you first play a game, if you really enjoyed it, you'll probably pick it up again. If you were kind of like, it's a little weird, even if you want that game to succeed, right? You're going to not play it as much. So it's weird. I started in the very beginning, and then now I'm like one of the newest. I only started playing in July of 2020. Okay. Which is to say that we had been in quarantine for a number of months at that point. Yeah. And we held the Chicago event Killer Queen Chicago put on a virtual event in lieu of what would have been Killer Queen 35, the midsummer tournament that Chicago hosts every year. And we raised a bunch of money for charity and the support of Black Lives, and that was fantastic. And there was a Killer Queen Black event during that like weekend event that I couldn't attend because I was hosting a panel at the time.
Okay, the panels that you guys were doing, yep.
Yeah, so I got excited. I was like wanting to do it, and then it didn't work out. I couldn't meet that schedule, and so then I just like started playing a little bit online. Like a week later when July rolled around.
Funky. So then you get into that part. You're playing a bit, and then at what point? Because Rob apparently and other people agree you've somehow gotten pretty good at the game. So they say. And I wonder, like, when you first started playing in 2018, you're doing the local stuff. Did you just go straight to Queen, or did you do drone? Did you do warrior? Did you just try everything out, a little smorgasbord, or like, what was it like to get into? What role were you doing? And then now, like, are you still queening, or what are you doing, Woody?
When I first started playing, you definitely kind of just got whatever position you could. But I wanted to play more warrior more than I wanted to play queen.
Warrior, okay. Warrior had all the fun stuff. They got the gun.
Yeah, I mean, the queen gets a dash, which is enormous, and the queen still has the greatest mobility by far. But it was kind of like, I can get a sword on the queen. And then, like, I mean, Queen is already, like, the strongest mobility player in Killer Queen Arcade. So, like, the transition just isn't that huge. It's, like, from very high mobility compared to your opponents to, like, also very high mobility against your opponents. But when there was, like, a mace and a gun, or I can just dash around the map as a sword. And, like, also just, like, the killing potential a sword has is nowhere. Like, Killer Queen Black is so much higher than Killer Queen Arcade. Because it's just, like, if we're near each other and you don't dash at me and I dash at you, you die.
Right.
Which is like one pixel perfect play in Killer Queen Arcade is that you shuffle the queen on the ceiling to catch her back. It like doesn't happen. Like KQB is just the game.
Yeah.
You didn't see me coming, so I dashed at you.
Do you find, like, in the mind games, because the mind games are always the fun part. You mentioned the shuffling, and that's always a thing in any kind of game. The footsies, right? There's a lot of parallels. We talk with Damas, talk with Lancaster, other people, Eric Clarkson. We'll talk about Smash, and like, there's parallels. And do you find in Killer Queen Black, it's like, because I know it's based on the attack button, the activation of the button to initiate the attack, but it has a cooldown, has a timeout. It only has an active window of this many frames. If I hit it earlier, but I'm too far away, then you come in. Like, do you find there's a lot of play to kind of get into the mental read and kind of mess around in that area?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because the weird thing about Killer Queen Black is, like, when you come from Killer Queen Arcade, you're so used to your character operating as like this capsule that the entire thing is a rigger body that interacts with other things around it. And then Black is really weird because while, like, your character does function like that if two characters collide, it's very rare that two characters collide without one of them acting and using their attack. And when you're attacking in Killer Queen Black, your hurt box that you can kill other people with is only the actual physical weapon. It is the blade of the sword.
Okay, so they localized
it. The spinning ball, and it's the actual gunshot.
Right.
Whereas it's weird because if two queens dash each other, they bounce off of each other like this. Only their like bellies hit each other's backs. No one dies, and that makes it look so weird. It's like, what? How does that work? Whereas like in Killer Queen Arcade, it's more straightforward. Like, we were even height, so we bounced off. If I was higher, I would have gotten the kill.
Right.
But it's like, no, you have to specifically get your weapon on their body.
That's interesting.
And so it's just.
I wonder if there's some things like that where when you're going in for transitioning from Killer Queen Arcade to Killer Queen Black, if it's like, because it almost sounds like it's about the willingness to just like let yourself adapt into something new rather than seeing the game as an extension of the other game, but not really, because it's different with the mechanics, but it's still Killer Queen. But like, it's a different game, man. It's a whole different thing. And so, like, being able to wrap your mind around that and the mechanics of it and just kind of accept it as it is, it feels a lot to me. And I talked to Joe B about this, and I want to pick your brain on it, because I don't know if you play Smash, but there's so many weird parallels between Killer Queen and Smash. It's very odd to me, like more so than other fighting games because of the spacing and like the map and the movement. It's bigger than like the Street Fighter 2D playing field of, you know, Tekken and stuff like that. But to me, it feels like Killer Queen Arcade is kind of like the Smash Brothers Melee of the scene. And then here comes Killer Queen Black. And I don't know if it's the Brawl, but it's like the other game. And maybe it's like the Project M or something like that, because it's fast. And you've got this difference of, well, this one works like this, and my character can do these things. And then here comes this other game, which is the same but different, but my character isn't the same. And like, ugh, I don't like that. Or, oh, that's fun and interesting, and I'll start to learn, and I can like do other things. Like, because I think, how long have you been playing Killer Queen Arcade, right? You haven't been playing like super long, but long enough to win Bumble Bash.
Well, I'm weird because I first ever touched the cabinet in the summer of 2016, but I only lived in Chicago for like 2.5 months of that period, and then I moved around a bunch for the next like near year of my life. So the first year that I ever played Killer Queen, between summer 2016 and summer 2017, I went to an arcade and played like 30 times, which is like a good amount.
Yeah.
But, like, I've asked other people, and it was like, oh, I went like 150 times my first year.
Yeah.
It's like, so I played very regularly, went entire months where I had never played, and then in summer of 2017, I moved back to Chicago.
Okay.
And so then I really, like, from 2017 until the pandemic hit, was just constantly playing Killer Queen in Chicago.
So you picked up from that point and started going. Okay. Yeah. So 2017, like safe to say from 2017 up to current, you've been heavily invested in playing more regularly and all that type of thing. Do you feel like, and maybe not, because like I said, you're coming off of Bumble Bash 4 and like you have goals, right? And I think as long as you have goals, it's fresh and you're trying to like move and, you know, I have goals, we have goals. It's like, okay. So there's always a carrot to chase, but it gets a little boring sometimes, does it not? Like, a little bit. The game is fun, and the people are great, but, you know, there's a certain way to play the game when you're at a certain level, and depending on what level you're at, if you're playing casually, if it's a local, if it's an invitational, if it's Bumble Bash, like, your team looks different, your strategies look different, the types of things you go for gets different, the competitive level gets different, the opponents get different, but it becomes really familiar, right? Like, the process of it. I wonder if part of the allure for you for Killer Queen Black was just, it's fucking different. You know what I mean? Like, how much of it is just boredom and like wanting to do something new?
Yeah. So much what you said about Killer Queen Arcade is so interesting, because like you do get into this lull kind of, like after, you know, you've played like a half dozen to a dozen tournaments, I feel like it's like, oh, these are all kind of the same thing.
Right.
Largely, I think in the queen role, every tournament continues to be exciting because, like you say, like you can only play at the very highest level if like everyone's playing at that very high level. Right. You know. And then, but like once you introduce any variety in the team, where like one player is like considerably better than the other player on both sides, you know, like a draft tournament. Draft tournaments naturally mean that you have a gradient of skill levels on your team. That's like such a fundamentally different experience for what you can deal with, but it's also a fundamentally different experience on like what you can push and like try to make happen, you know. Right. Like sometimes if you're much better than a person, you can just kind of bully them. Right. So like from a queen perspective, typically what that means is when I go into a tournament and my team has a certain quality of skill match up against their team, you know, if I can like rely on my team to win most of the battles, and we'll have a majority of warrior kills that way, or if I can't, then that means in the queen role, because you have so much latent aggressive potential that you can choose to enact on. So like at Bumble Bash or KQ30, when my team was like stacked, because people are just amazing players across the board, I would play like a much more patient, passive, reserved game. I would look to create opportunities less. I would pass on like 60% plays. I'd be like, that's a good play for us. We probably win that. We don't need it. Right. You guys will win it all back. And you can like switch that aggressive mode, which means that like across every tournament I've ever played, I'm just always excited because there's so much evaluation in my head of like, how much do I push the envelope and try to create things happen for my team? Or do I just like hang back and give my team space? And like that's just like a slider from 0 to 100. Right. You toggle up and down depending on what tournament you're in.
There's so many variables.
And also, like, the opponent you have, right? So it's that to me is like one of the most fascinating things about Killer Queen Arcade is like those minor adjustments of like how much can I push the envelope and how much is it better to just empower my teammates. And as a result, that means that like every tournament I've ever been in is fun and exciting and new and fresh.
That's interesting. I would agree. I think that the thing that keeps people coming back to the game, and like even now thinking about the game, even though most people aren't playing and like getting into things, is that every game really is different. You can do the same strategy, but like, you know, you get something you didn't get the last game. Oh, I died because I missed a tap by a second, you know. Now I'm in a position that's completely different than the last game when I did this and it was fine. Now there's more pressure for like no reason, and it changes and it's variable. Do you have the same types of things? Because the Killer Queen Black gameplay is so damn fast. I think that the game's probably like. Do you guys even go to famine? Is that common?
It's rare. I've done it, but it's rare.
It's rare, right?
In our league, but it is very rare. It is very rare. Which is good because in Killer Queen Black, since famine hasn't become an issue, there's no famine respawn.
Right.
There's no barrier respawn mechanic like there is in arcade.
Right.
So when it goes to famine, it's true famine. It's really intense.
Sudden death, man.
But yeah, I think that there definitely is like a level of like playing Killer Queen Black versus arcade just brings like a very different like evaluation of those stresses.
It's funky. I think the big difference between them, like aside from the speed, like the mechanics, like the ability to throw berries, I feel like is probably, even aside from the guns and the speed, that ability is probably one of the most game-changing abilities in the scope of Killer Queen. Because it's like, I think when it first came out, people were just like, oh, I could throw berries into the hole, dope. But like when you get into that like last berry situation, now it's like, yo, I can coordinate with my other Jones and yin-yang this thing around and pass the ball basically to get it to somebody and make an opening. And it's like, it's a different concept for last berry. And you can develop all new strategies, and those types of things are really interesting and fun to me. Tell me about like maybe one of your most memorable or like most fun Killer Queen Black games that you've played in recent memory. Like what's exciting?
That is a good question.
Killer Queen Arcade, I would think, right? Probably Bumble Bash, like hands down. Like you pinpoint, that's some great games. But what's it like on the KQ Black scene for you?
Yeah, so my team has actually been pretty grateful to get the number of opportunities we've had this past season to play really, really intense, good matches. Our team quickly we ended up getting 4th place in the most recent Tier 1 East League.
Okay.
Right behind like the 3 top teams that have been playing together for a really, really long time. So we got to play all of those teams in this season twice because we played them all. We got to play 2 of them twice and 1 of them only once.
Okay.
So we played against them it's the same way that a lot of double elimination tournaments act is that they'll do like groups of round robin for seeding and then go into the bracket.
Okay.
It's the same type of function, but it's played across months. So we played them all in the round robin, and then we were able to play the team that inevitably got second and winners semis, and then they knocked us to losers, and then we played the team that inevitably beat us and got third. And in the meantime, what Killer Queen Black does, which is the greatest experience I've ever had with Killer Queen, is before someone's match, they want a 1-hour warm-up sprint.
1 hour?
And so before,
Oh.
So for 1 hour, you get another team. You'll be like, hey, are you free to warm us up against this team this time? And you'll scrim for like a straight hour of play, and then right after that go into your match.
Interesting.
And so you will get 2 hours back to back of very competitive, intense Killer Queen.
That's really interesting.
And I've only gotten that much straight game time at like that level of play. Not even, I was gonna say post-tournament in Killer Queen Arcade, but no, everyone is just like too inebriated.
Yeah.
For those to be, like,
the quality of play goes down a little bit.
But I don't think 10 p.m. after a 2-day tournament is super intense.
No.
So it's probably like teams getting together on like a Tuesday, which isn't like the free play night, and then just grinding for practice. But even then, you're typically taking turns. You know, there's like 3, 5, 6 teams, and you're all rotating. And so it's like maybe you play 45 minutes out of the 2 hours you're there. But with Killer Queen Black, it is just game. Okay, 2 minutes later, next map. 2 minutes later, next map.
Yep.
Back to back for 2 straight hours.
That is
so
intense. And I think at the competitive level, when I go back and I think about the tournament, there's always the issue of like, you know, the team that's been sitting in winners, maybe they're like, they've got a better team comp, they're in winners for a reason, but like the team that's in losers is so hot, like they're warm, they've played again, and the other team's just waiting, they're cooling down, they're not engaged as much as that losers bracket team, which is why it pushes for the comeback so much, you know. So if you're in there and you're playing for that amount of time, I imagine that it like kind of has an effect where it's basically balancing that out, where because of the amount of time you play, being warm, you'll cool down because you have kind of fatigue and, you know, pushing the buttons and just the mental fatigue of playing and keeping it up. The other team gets to warm up, but not too much. And you kind of get to this equilibrium zone. So when you fight each other, you're basically equal lengths warm because you're both tired but warm at the same time. That's a really cool concept, man. I wonder if we could
it's always good.
Pull something like that into KQ Arcade, but maybe 30 minutes. Oh, it's time for the commercial break. Dope. Well, this is the first of the commercial breaks. But this is what we do. So we'll pull that up. Hang tight, buddy. I'm gonna get you back on the cam. This commercial break is not brought to you by Bullet because they suck.
Love it.
I kind of like the commercial break. It's like it breaks. It's just I never know when it's coming. It's the true Lazy J of the Lazy J. Have you ever tricked somebody like that? Like you because everyone expects the J. It's the optimal maneuver. But I kind of like the Lazy J just because it has options. Like the J dive does not have options. You get it. You know what I mean? You pull it off. But like the Lazy J, if I touch the ground and you think I'm gonna come in, maybe I just go straight up. Maybe I do some other kind of weird angle. Maybe I just stand there and you just go way over me and I get in and I tag the gate. I don't know. It just kind of opens up some stuff, but it's for sure the least optimal move. I gotta make you full screen, but give me your opinion of just Lazy J as a maneuver. And like, does it even exist in Killer Queen Black?
So I love the Lazy J in arcade. I think it's a fantastic move. I think it's essential for players. I think lots of people would greatly benefit from having the Lazy J in their arsenal because like J diving is difficult. I think it's easier for queens than it is for warriors. I think the Lazy J has a lot of applicability for warriors, even though you see them do it a lot less. And like you say, like there are different options. Like you don't have to hit the J right now. It does have that counterplay potential, right? You're putting some skill in your opponent because your opponent sees you going for the Lazy J and you dive down, you land, and they're hovering right there at the end of the ledge.
Right.
They could just scoop out and kill you. It does happen. I've seen it happen. But I've probably seen it happen a similar number of times that I've seen someone whiff a J dive and just kill themselves.
Would I rather whip this J or just be lazy and take an L? I don't know. It depends.
Yeah.
I always, we had it at Queens Gone Wild, which you haven't been to Florida, have you? Maybe like in life, but in life at all? Never ever.
Oh no, I went to Florida a bunch when I was a little kid because my aunt on my stepdad's side had a timeshare down there, and so we could just get in for like nothing.
Oh my god, timeshares!
Right?
Jesus, right? I remember having to sit through timeshare. This is how old I am. I had to sit through timeshare presentations so that my family could get tickets to go to Disney World.
Yeah, so I went to Destin, Florida, a number of summers.
Dude, timeshares, Jesus.
But I got very pink red.
Yeah.
Because my complexion does not do well in the sun.
Fair enough reason not to come to Florida too much, right? It's not bad. We gotta get you down here for one of these things. We'll see. But we were doing that tournament, Lazy Jays. I remember Richard got one on Kyle, saved our ass on a day map. I feel like day map is where it happens the most. There aren't really a lot of good. I mean, there are, but like, there's not a lot of notable Lazy J spots in the other nights maps. Like maybe night map, dust map. Like, no, not really. I don't see it. I don't know if there's a place in dust map that I have Lazy Jade. Maybe above the gates, left and right, but like.
Yeah, from that little pile, but it's not very useful there. The only spot I can think of on dust map that might be useful is from middle gate into the top lip in the dust tunnel.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's very like very close top lip. Yeah, it's like only a 7 meter long. Yeah, just enough for a skinny like, queen body.
Yeah.
I like that spot.
So warriors will hang out there to move the snail, and they'll be like, hit the gate, and there's like this little, you can hit it.
Just get it enough. So while we're still on the subject. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I think there is value on the one by the side gates from the drone wrap ledge.
From the pocket?
The enemy queen, from the pocket.
Wow.
From the pocket. You can hit that one. And the reason I think there's value there is because if you're pursuing the enemy queen through the wrap, and the whole thing is like, she tags right gate, and then you're pursuing the right gate, and then she goes through the wrap to go tag left gate, and you're chasing like that. You're doing that whole rigmarole.
Yeah.
If you have a warrior that flies up and is like capping the outside of that ledge, and you can't hit that J quick, but you can hit a quick Lazy J, hit the Lazy J, and push them out of left gate.
It pushes them away. Yeah, away from the gap. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Now the pocket's like,
or you're going to get the kill, send them to left speed gate, and then you're trapping them down there.
Pocket's like where you go to die, so I never think about the pocket. But in the terms of the Lazy J, that's not bad. That's a good maneuver. I was gonna say while we're on the subject of kind of what's going on, some other folks in the chat. We got Mario Herrera. Stream's better for you, buddy. Glad to hear it. He says that KQB meta, by the way, is turning basically into KQA meta, which is get things to kill things, win game. Sounds easier than it is, I'm sure. Nathan Palmer is over here. Let's see. All kinds of stuff is going on. Glad you guys are tuning in. But the big elephant in the room, Bumble Bash 4. We got Knee Howdy on one hand. We got Arguably on the other hand. And the subject matter is Night Map. We've talked about it. We talked about it with Dre. I know we have a team have talked about it. I know you guys have talked about it in some circumstance or whatever, but we've only really talked to Dre because I think it's during the tournament, and we do the friendlies, everyone gets hammered, and it's like, all right, cool, whatever, and then we're gone. But talk to me about that set. You guys obviously went on to win. I think we got 3-0'd, but the night map game was close. That was the only game we were ever ahead. And Snail's going in, we fucked it up, we couldn't close, and that game taught us, like, this is how you close Snail. You don't close it with your butt cheeks, you close it by opening up and tagging the gates and, like, spreading around, but we were so tight around that Snail, and you guys just came in and murdered us. But tell me about it from your perspective. I've never heard it before. I know it's the thing, it's been talked about, but just walk me through that from, as you guys were going into Bumble Bash, you guys faced us, and, like, what was the thought?
So actually, I had a lot of respect for your team. I remember your team was one of 3 or 4 teams in our group that we had a conversation about. And and like frankly, I knew that all of my players were like calibers above your players because you're much newer,
way newer,
and that's just we could expected. But one of the things I said is this is going to be one of the few teams in this group that play as a concerted unit, and they talk about strategy and they think about strategy, and so like it's not going to be the same as if like what you could expect from like some very new scenes,
right?
That we would have to look out for that, and you definitely showed that it wasn't just like your players didn't let themselves get like solo killed a ton. We had to create kill potential and then capitalize on that kill potential.
Right, yeah, get the traps.
Yeah, and I knew that like if we were running pincers all day, we would win the pincers most of the time, but that's what we had to do. And I think that night map showed, I felt like we were looking for more solo plays and they just like went the wrong way. It was like a mystic here, like missing a warrior there, and you were all just like moving snail the whole time because I was like recovering. And honestly, I was like really impressed, but I knew that as long as like I didn't lose lives on the snail denial,
right,
that we would be able to pull it back.
Right.
I didn't want to let your objective success or our like lack of mill turn into queen lives lost for me.
Right.
And then I figured that I would be getting queen versus queen kills in the process. The longer I could make the snail take, the more warriors I could get up, the more we could delay that snail, I would probably take queen stocks to victory, which is inevitably what happened on the night map. We just stalled it long enough and pulled it back.
It was so wild. There was a point where the snails, like, I think we got it to the platform next to the goal. I think it was around that area.
Yeah, past the waterfall.
Past the waterfall
under the little ledge.
And there was a point where I think there was a wipe and snail's moving, but again, we were so damn focused on getting that thing to the goal, and it went to the head, and you left. You went some places, you tagged, you got some folks up, and we kind of fortressed around that area, and like Ling Ling came back, Dre came back, and everyone's coming back, and you ended up getting me above the left speed gate on a crazy weird like angled J, not even like a J, just like a fluid motioned lip into the corner. And I think I either leaked out or I thought you were gonna dip down to get the snail and you didn't. And you ended up coming in and grabbing me at that moment. I think I turned or something. I made some kind of a flub.
I think you had started to dive. And I think I had thought that you were tagging the speed gate. That I had left the ledge and you were like, oh, I'll take the speed gate, and then I hit the J dive.
Right.
And it was like, oh, no. That's what I recall happening.
That was a crazy game, man. But yeah, we talk about that quite a bit. It was a really fun game. And like we think about the group, because like same thing you were saying, like it's fun to be able to play against the other teams that have that competitive level, so you can really touch that ceiling and kind of stay there and sharpen yourself really against some of the top talent. And that was a tough pool. You were in that pool. Kyle's team was in that pool, who I think also beat us. We took a game. There was a night game that we should have had. But alas, the beta bumps. I think one of my guys, Floyd, like bumped Kyle in the back. You could see him on the camera. He like freaks out. I tell him every time, like, remember that night, Matt, where you lost your shit? He's like, yeah, I remember. But he didn't die. He just bounced off. And then Rob's team. Rob's team was in that group too. And then some others. I think there was Phoenix was there.
Phoenix, the Maloney squad, Tyler Maloney, being the Phoenix team. That's the only other team that I remember.
I feel like there was another one, but I don't. Yeah, it's a like Tetris.
I think there was two more. Actually.
Tetris squad rings a bell.
The groups were so large, it was hard to keep track of.
Dude, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. There were so many people playing that game. It was really cool, but like that's for sure most number of caps at a Bumble Bash, like hands down, right?
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
That's fucking wild.
Oh, I don't know if you saw this. Dan Barron, who was, of course, my speed warrior at Bumble Bash, just commented, the night map game versus arguably was the most memorable of all of our games and groups.
Hell yeah, brother. Yo, Dan is a monster.
I completely agree with that.
Dan comes up in conversation, people bring his name up, and I'm just like, I'm always never sure if I've met this guy. I know I have. Obviously, we played against him. but I can never place him in my mind. Like, God damn it, who's Dan Barron?
Yeah.
One day, Dan, we're gonna hang out, buddy. It's gonna be good. Thank you. It's been fun. I keep telling everybody when Bumble Bash 5 comes out, South Florida will be gunning. We are gonna come back. Arguably is gonna come back. We're gonna try to do that. In terms of the aspirations, what do you feel like? Like, are you gonna bring the same team? Are you going for a repeat? Obviously, everyone is, but like, how high is that in terms of your goals? Has COVID changed you? You know what I mean? Is it Killer Queen Black? Do you want to invest more time into that? Like, what's happening in KQA when it gets back together for you?
So it's a really tough question because I think my opinion and view on it has changed dramatically over the course of the pandemic. I mean, which is no surprise. We've been here for an entire year. But there was a time where I really, really wanted the schedule to naturally resume at some point, and then maybe everything shifted by 6 months, 9 months, however long it takes.
Sure.
Now I haven't played in so long, and I haven't seen so many. I mean, like, even just like friends in Chicago, right? I haven't seen anybody, and I love these people that I used to see multiple times a week. And so I really feel like whenever it gets back to us being able to play, that the last thing I would possibly want is any level of stakes on those games. I don't want intense tournament structure that means that you have to like play very well to get lots of sets that day, and I don't want to like worry about winning.
Yeah,
that's not what I wanted. I don't like. I mean, maybe my opinion might change a month after we get back to it. I might be like, okay, tournament time.
Right.
All right. I've played 31 days already. Like Killer Queen Arcade. So I don't see why I wouldn't play in a tournament.
Get the damn Rocky montage going on.
But I don't know, like, I feel like we're going to go to the arcade, and every venue is going to be packed with not just Killer Queen players, but like random people playing Killer. Every bar is going to be packed.
Right.
And so I don't see a circumstance under which you're getting to play on the cabinet enough that you're like not just still focused on the social side of things.
Right. Yeah.
I expect that I'll spend half the time I spend at the arcade just talking to people. Like, oh, cab's open, we're fine. I haven't seen you in a year and a half. Can we talk,
Right,
and so that's why people were talking about it online recently, but the first Killer Queen event, the first like invitational or open or whatever that people come from like across the country to, should be a social weekend.
I saw
Try
that
to
post.
Keep structure as low as possible, as many cabinets as you possibly can have. If we can have enough cabinets to where it's like self-managing, like the way that Bumble Bash 4 was.
Right.
So many cabinets, there were so many people, like people would just form lines and you would see like on deck and in the hole lined up at every cabinet, and then that was enough for everyone there.
Yeah.
If we can hit that level of cabs, just do that. Just do that all weekend.
Dude, there was a shadow cab way in the back of the choo-choo, and Rob kept coming out. Yeah, no one knows. Rob kept coming out. He's like, hey man, you guys want to go play on the shadow cab? And we're like, yeah man, where's that? It's like, oh.
Wait, so was it in the back of the train?
Dude, there was a cab so far in the back of the choo-choo venue, the Chattanooga choo-choo venue, not the Moxie.
Yeah, it was not in the train, right?
No.
It was to the right of it?
It was to the right, but it was, God, that walk back was so far.
It was
and
so long.
We got some really hardcore games in there before the tournament. I think it was like either in between pools or before pools or something, probably in between. But that was a really nasty one. A lot of fun at that cab. But I think you're right. I saw that post from Palmer, and yeah, I think, because I was talking with Sam, and Sam, dude, everyone loves Sam. Sam is, people love that lady. And I don't know Sam Weddle, but like so many people tuned in for a show. They were like, oh, what's going on? And just checking in, And she's really good. She's a great, one of the best objectives. But like everything that she was telling you is just, I want to teach you how to make friends by breaking into people's houses. And it's so heavy on the social side. You think I'm kidding. Wait till you watch it. But yeah, we've been away so long. No one has seen anybody. We've got Discord. We've got stuff. So like, at least there's that, right? It's not like we're in isolation or something. Like, we can't talk to anybody, but it's not the same. And I was talking with her, and it kind of hit me like, that's why people like to watch this show. That's why people are willing to come on. this is like the next best thing of not being able to go and physically talk. At least I can see you. Yeah. You're only, maybe 8 feet away to my wall. And we were talking and we can hear and just checking in and seeing what's going on. And there's a huge social element to that. So I think I would agree with you, because I'm kind of always on the fence too. Like, we're both competitive. We both have goals. We want to be the best. We want to play. We want to win. If you're playing, winning is fun, I think. Losing is okay. Like, we can lose, right? But if I have a choice, I kind of want to win. So, right? So I think the social aspect of it sometimes, when it gets taken for granted, it can get kind of pushed to the back burner. So I totally agree with you, Palmer. If you're listening, do the social one. Don't do a tournament. Just do the social one. Let people come and hang out. They'll do side tournaments. They'll do money matches. Nick Monger will be there, and I will take his money this time. But, it'll be fine. I think I wholly agree with that. Let me ask you this, while we're calling on the essence of social and shows and why people watch and this and that, because you've got Flight School, right? And Joe's telling me about this, like Flight School. I remember watching Flight School as a newer player, and just like you, Clarkson, and just like watching these things of learning about columns, learning about height, learning about tap speed, learning about triple tap, and just learning stuff, from all those KQ flashcards that spread around every time a new scene pops up. Where are the flashcards? Somebody give them the flashcards. But you've been doing this. You're still doing Flight School? Has it shifted to Killer Queen Black, or like what's the move on Flight School lately?
Yeah, so we still do Flight School content. Actually, right after the pandemic hit, I saw a really good opportunity to keep us like in contact by doing Flight School office hours. So like on our Discord, everyone just gets together like on a date that we schedule office hours, and everyone hangs out and talks about the game. And it like really flowed naturally. Like some weeks there'd be like a bunch of really experienced players, and we'd all be hashing out concepts together and just like it being very conversational. And then other weeks we had people from like newer scenes that hopped in, and they just had like a bunch of questions for me. They're like, hey, I'm a new queen, how does this work? And it was like 2 straight hours of me answering questions.
Dope. Like an Ask Me Anything.
Yeah, it was like and it's a bring what you will, right? Because if a bunch of people get on there and we're all sharing ideas, like Dan Barron got on there a number of times, and I was like, yo, Dan, this is more of a question for you. It's about like warrior stuff. Like, what are you looking for? I can't explain to you perfectly or as well as top speed warriors of the game what a speed warrior should be looking for at a given moment in the game. Right? I can tell you what I want my speed warrior to be doing, which isn't necessarily the correct answer.
Right. A answer, but
And so hearing it from it's like I'm a good speed warrior. I'm not a great speed warrior, let alone like an amazing legendary speed warrior. So like I can't answer that question as well. And that was one of the really fantastic things about Flight School office hours is like whoever got on dramatically changed the nature of the conversation. I mean, one week it was a bunch of my friends, and we didn't even really talk about Killer Queen. We just like ended up hanging out and talking about stuff, games we were playing.
Right.
And since then, I started playing a bunch of Killer Queen Black, and then the months passed, and I was like, oh, we're not going to get out of this in the fall, are we? Like 0% chance.
The sun didn't kill it.
Months passed, and then in the fall, we're like, oh, it's the worst it's ever been. We might get out of this sometime next year, maybe.
Yeah.
And so as that, the time went on and as the intensity increased, one, it became clear that like the conversations we were having about Killer Queen wouldn't necessarily be meaningful because we like ran out of things to just like come up with to talk about, right?
Yeah.
You can only analyze the same footage over and over again so many times.
Right.
And then 2, I hadn't played in so long, it wasn't where my excitement was. I was playing a bunch of Killer Queen Black, and I was like, this is exciting. So then I held one Flight School office hours and shared the information to the Killer Queen Black community. And I was like, everyone can come, we'll talk about KQA, KQB, whatever. But most of the people that showed up there were Killer Queen Black players. And so we talked about Killer Queen Black.
Dope.
And that was really cool. And we put out one video about Killer Queen Black. But the issue for me with getting into Killer Queen Black content was that I wasn't that good.
But Paul, I'm not good yet.
Was I who was I to say anything, right? Who was I to be like, oh, this is the, I mean, like Killer Queen Arcade, I did the opener series. I was like, this is how teams open. This is how
I remember watching that. Yeah. Yep.
Like, do it these ways if you want to have success. And in Killer Queen Black, I'm like, openers, I don't know. It sucks when all of your drones die. That's bad. Don't let that happen.
Don't let that happen.
The Queen dove there and flew across the map because she could do that in 3 seconds and you died. Okay. I mean, it's like I was like, what am I supposed to say? I don't know what's going on.
Right. Did you have any resistance?
Did
you have any resistance, like from the established players? Like, I don't know who plays Killer Queen Black. I know people play. The only person I know that plays Killer Queen Black that's any good, which I'm sure a bunch of people are good. You know, you're good, Rob's good, but people are playing. But the only person other people told me like, yo, this kid's good, is that guy from New York. I don't know his name. It's like something. It's like not his name. It's like Nish or Nick or Nuck or whatever, something. But he was at some point at some level where he's like, oh, this kid's considered to be one of the best players. And I know who else is playing. Hugo, I want to say, was playing for a bit too.
Yeah, he hasn't played in a long time.
But like at some point, those guys were like, you know, enlisting the Smurf accounts to not tank their real account, but then also they're like, you know, some of the best players. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So who's in the meta, like who's playing? Like, who are the top tier players? Like, who are the Woodies, you know what I mean, of KQB right now, in your opinion?
So it's overwhelming. It's just Killer Queen Black players for the most part. I don't think that there are any warriors you would mention in terms of like top tier warriors in Killer Queen Arcade. I don't think there are any that play Black. Also at the top tier, right? They're the best in both games. I don't think there's anyone that's the best in both games.
That's reasonable. They're different. They're wildly different.
So it's all Killer Queen Black names. In that case, there's a bunch of like really talented queens. But the one that I am always like, I want to be this good, is KG. He's an East Queen, and he's just mechanically, like without a doubt, the tightest micro queen, like the best
micro queen. Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, like just like KG does thing. I've heard people be like, KG's must be doing something. I don't understand. Like no one else can move like that. No one else can move like that. Like people, I've heard that through these headphones. And it's true. He is just phenomenal, just absolutely incredible. And so I do so much work to just like figure out how to move like that. And there's tons of queens that are really good at that and teach me a lot of lessons. Peanut and Penguin are super notable. Peanut, who got first place most recently. But yeah, I look to KG most for inspiration. Then there's also a bunch of like West Coast queens that I kind of get. Like you can't play against them. Like when you're cross server,
right?
Queen
Yeah,
attack is so tight.
Yeah,
so you can't really like scrim against each other. So while there's like Obo, who is also a very good queen in Killer Queen Arcade, Jeff, is so good, but we can't really like play against each other well. So it's like tough to like, am I really practicing this? Though they're fixing a lot of those server issues. They just had a new patch that's supposed to stabilize that, and people have been doing other things.
That's tough.
Really good.
I mean, if you can just try to think about, and again, this is nothing new. Online games, all that type stuff. It's crazy, but like you're connecting people playing the game over a server, over the internet, from different places with different internet connections that are all, this one's fiber, this one's not, this one's Comcast, that one's AT&T, and you're trying to pull all that together in a tight, it's different if it's one-on-one, and even that's hard, that's Street Fighter 5, but you got 8 people playing this game in different locations. The fact that they can figure that out with any kind of consistency at a game like this, where it's so fast, and it's timing based and cooldown based on hitboxes, there's so much stuff going on that screen. KQ is, arcade or otherwise, a complicated game. There's a lot going on at a time. So kudos to the developers, kudos to Bumblebear and everybody really like working hard to get the stuff together, because it's a madhouse. It's crazy.
Yeah. The lead developer, I'm pretty sure his title is lead developer for Liquidbit, Adam Walters, has said on a number of occasions when people have been like asking about like, how do you make this work really well? His response is always just like, if anyone is looking to do something like this, my advice is don't make an 8-player online game.
Yeah.
He's just like, just don't do it. Just don't do that.
Right. Yeah, probably not.
It's just like, it's really hard. It's constantly a mess, and I don't know why it works sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like, because you've got games like Brawlhalla, which, like, that's 4.
Yeah.
You've got some of the other games that are even smaller than that. There's like that Smash game. I can never think of it, but it's like not Smash Bros, but basically the next best thing for Smash Bros. Not PlayStation All-Stars. We don't talk about that. But those games, it's less players. It's 8 players, and it's competitive, and it's team, and there's all this stuff. It's not Bomberman, but even Bomberman 8 players is like difficult online. The people that are doing that really well, it's like Riot Games, and Liquid Bit, bless them, not Riot Games, not same resources. You know what I mean?
They don't have that level of money to invest that time, energy, and also the game is much more precise, right? Like, if you play these like MMORPGs, like those all sync up well when you do raids and stuff. When you play MOBAs like Dota and League of Legends, there's some dynamics there where it's like, oh, I thought I got away from that, or no, like I don't think that was nonsense.
Yeah, there's some room.
There's like some room, but in Killer Queen Black, because the characters are so small, and like whether or not your specific tiny little weapon hits,
right?
Latency just is enormous. It's huge. It changes so many things in a way that like other games it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not like an AoE, you know what I mean? Oh, I wasn't in the circle, but I was. Okay. Like, much higher level of precision. So that's probably frustrating, but also, like, fair when you're getting a good, clean game and you can feel the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big deal. Oh, notably, we were talking about really good KQA to KQB players, and Elise chimed in that Elise EG on Discord and Jeff H and D are the like only very good KQB players that have medals, and then Ewok was like, "Nah, me too." So I guess there's like only 4 players that have medaled in both games.
That's wild. That's not a lot. That's a small club. That's a small club. That's a top 5 club still. That's insane. So you guys are doing this, you're playing, there's leagues, like things are going on. I get the emails still, like I'm on the list, I don't play the game, but I'm on the list, and I keep up, I see what's going on, and it's nice to see them like doing things. I saw they did the Ask Me Anything with Bumble Bear not too long ago on Reddit, and people are asking, and people are always asking, when are you gonna take KQA online and let us play against cities? I'm like, yeah, dummy, go sit down. But it's always trying to pull these things and keep the community together, and I really applaud them for that. At least with the way things have gone, had KQ Black not come out within the timing, and I know they didn't make this in response to COVID. Obviously, they've been working on it for a really long time, but like the timing of it is kind of like, wow, like thank God, like at least there's something to keep this conversation relevant. We always talk about the standpoint of people that play KQB, maybe they'll be interested in playing KQA. Maybe there's some crossover between both of those games in some capacity. Maybe at tournaments in the future when we get back and going, they mesh. And not only do we have KQA tournaments, but there's a side KQB tournament or a main KQB tournament, and we can start to move into this realm similar to Smash, similar to other fighting games and Evo and stuff like that, where you've got multiple games that are being played at the same event. And, maybe you play in KQA, but you can also participate as a player in the KQ Black section and kind of mesh with that with the different teams, and it'll be a different dynamic. And I think that that's all worth and all really interesting, and I hope that stuff comes from it, and it'll be interesting. If I was asking you, we talked about obviously I think Palmer posted, and we want these games to be social, but like if there's a thing you've learned, if there's a lesson, what is it? And like what's your hope for the scene at a national level once things kind of level out, even outside of tournament aspirations and whatever? Just what's something you feel like COVID has kind of taught you, and then you can kind of translate that back into the scene? I'll go first just to kind of give you an example. It's really opened me up to the concept of Yeah. It's opened me up to the concept of getting to know people that I find interesting, like getting to know people that I'm curious about and learning. That's the whole reason I do this show. Is it really has nothing to do with the scene. It's kind of a selfish show. It's a really selfish show. I think that for me personally, I like the people I play with. I like the idea of the melding of the minds. I like talking to you because I consider you to be the best. And if I talk to you and I pick your brain, that's going to help me. You know what I mean? It's kind of that sharpening thing. If I talk to Damish, I talk to Eduardo, I talk to these people, I talk to Sam, I learned a whole new thing. I don't even know Sam, but now I do. And I think that kind of expands us as people when we kind of go to that mental space and we have these intellectual conversations, because we can suck down, he who shall not be named, and your black IPA and have a slobber knocker and just slobber over each other. But we can also have this highbrow and learn, and we can teach each other things. I think that's interesting for me. So when I'm thinking about the scene at large, I was the guy that would go to the tournament with a goal and like, get out of my way, motherfucker. I've got a goal. You know what I mean? And we can talk after I've got my goal, but I need to stay in this mind of focusing and just keeping that really tight. And I don't think that, me personally, I don't think that like I've been off to anybody or like mean or whatever, anything like that. But I do know that I have not at all tried to maximize any of the social aspect of the game in tournament, because we're there to do a job. So we're going to focus on the job. So now I'm thinking, yeah, maybe the job's not really that important. Like, this isn't League of Legends. The stakes aren't that high. I'm really enjoying using the game as a method to travel. I'd never been to LA before. This game brought me there. I'd never been to Chattanooga before. This game brought me there. Chicago. Well, that was a vacation, but I still went to, the arcade. And I think that there's other things the game can show you. So for me personally, the goal, the lesson is take the time to sit and smell the flowers a little bit around the arcade. Still play, sure, have your goals, whatever, but don't discount the other things as much, because now you're feeling the effects and like you want to talk to people because you're losing your fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's the lead in, you know what I mean? There's the segue. What is it for you?
So I was thinking, like, it was funny because when you first started talking, I was like, oh, ours are kind of different. And you kept talking. I was like, oh, no, they're basically the same. Because, like, the lesson is, like, I haven't seen my family in over a year. I haven't seen my best friends that I live 2 minutes from in a year. And so, like, the lesson is that those experiences you have with people, like, there's a limited number of them. And who knows, like, what place someone's going to be in a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, or even if, like, you'll be similar enough people to even like each other at that point.
Yeah.
Or, like, if people still be around. And so it definitely just teaches you that, like, the things that you took for granted, which is that I always took for granted that I could, like, see all of my best friends every week because they would all be in the same place. I took that for granted. I loved it. I was having a blast with it, but I didn't cherish it, where you're like, this is a precious thing that's going to go away. So being reminded that you don't have any of that guaranteed whatsoever, that, like, you could lose one of those connections at any given moment.
Right.
I think just makes you know that whenever you're back and you're able to, like, have those experiences, that those are the most important experiences. It's so much more important to have, like, a meaningful conversation with someone you care about next to the cabinet than it is to, like, get your neck hurt in, right?
Right.
And so I think that's just gonna be, like, what the focus should be, and the focus I'm gonna have whenever it gets back to it is, like, I'm gonna want to go see everybody, and it's like I have my friends that I see every 1 to 2 years.
Right.
I haven't gotten to see them in a year, so I'm gonna go see them now, and I'm gonna spend a lot of time visiting people and having people visit me that I haven't talked to in a, like, decent length of time.
It's a lot.
Killer Queen to be, like, a place I could do that.
It's a lot. I think a lot of it, does rotate around the game. And, I was talking with Sam. She gave me the percentage, not my words. She said 90% of my friends are related in some way. They came from or are associated with Killer Queen in the community and everything. And it's like, that's a high percentage. And when you think about the amount of interaction we're not doing with that community now, at least not in person, it's pretty staggering when I think about that. I'm the type of guy I'd always think like, oh man, how do you make friends at the various points in your life, right? When you're kids, it's like, hey, you like Power Rangers? Yeah, all right, we're friends now. Like, well, you got Pokemon cards? You got shinies? We're friends now. Deal with it. And then it's like, you get to this moment where you're too cool and you want to just be cool and have cool friends. And no, I don't like Bugs Bunny publicly. And you go through that realm. Then you get to college and it's more of like, who's in your group? Who's in your circle? Who do you eat lunch with? Who are your roommates? Who's closest to you in proximity? All right, I'll hang on to these people. And then you get out of that mode and then it's like, all right, I guess my work friends are my friends, or I guess I'll hold on to some of my school friends. Or like, if you don't have a thing that connects you, it's harder. So Killer Queen's been a thing for a lot of people. Certainly for you, for me, for Sam, other people. So yeah, I'd agree. Like it's always about trying to maintain that and keep things going. And I hope that, things kind of pick up back that way. I wanted to ask you, we were talking, it made me think about something. When it comes to when it comes to what you've been doing, obviously we've been talking about what we haven't been doing. You haven't been seeing anybody or doing, what the hell you been doing, man? You growing your hair out? You keeping the blonde? You're doing some fucking horticulture in the back with your unkillable plant, I hear. You got a crown there? Are you doing some like in-home Ren Fair stuff? I don't know. What are you doing these days anyway?
No, the crown's Killer Queen.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. South Florida's got one too. We got one too.
Yeah, actually, Scoops was just telling me that.
Oh my God.
We did a test of my video the other day, and he was just like, I gotta ask about the crown because we have a crown.
Where'd you get that crown?
Like, it's fine, different kingdoms, it's okay.
Different kingdoms.
But so, but yeah, I have done a lot of different things. I got really into decorating.
Decorating?
So like,
decorating.
Times I've traded out couches.
Wow.
In the past year.
So like interior decorating?
I've gotten so many mirrors. Yeah. Just like things on walls and pieces of furniture. I've redecorated so much. I painted the wall behind my computer setup and the one in the living room. I painted walls. I was just like, this should look beautiful.
Wow.
And cute because I have spent so much time indoors.
You're getting handy. Let me guess for a second. Let me guess, because I can kind of see your setup. I'm always intrigued by like people's backgrounds in these things. So okay, I'm gonna guess how many mirrors you have in this one room. From what I can see, I see 4. But I'm gonna imagine there's a couple more because I'm trying to check the angle. So I'm just gonna guess if there's 4 right now, there's probably 5 mirrors. I'm not gonna say 6. There's 5 in that room right now.
This is very confusing.
It's your room. What do you mean?
Well, you were so confident there were 4, I had to think about it because there's 3.
There's 3? Oh my God.
3 mirrors.
Wait a minute, but I thought there's a mirror right there. I thought I saw a mirror in the reflection, right? On the left?
Yeah, so there's this mirror.
Right.
And it has that mirror, so that's 2 mirror.
Right, Inception mirror.
And then 3rd mirror.
That's it? Okay, see, I thought behind the unkillable plant on the wall in the right corner that there was another mirror, like a standing one, you know what I mean? What is that? Is that a poster?
Oh. Where on the screen? I'm confused.
It's like a behind the leaf top right corner. Yeah, that. Oh, what is, it's a, oh, I see.
This is a curtain.
I see.
This is a grate. That's a window. There's a car.
It was all a ruse. I understand now. Yeah, at the end of the curtain, it felt like there was another panel for like a standing mirror. Right. Yeah.
Like a little bit of a wall. But,
right.
Like right here.
Yeah.
That is a painting.
Damn it! I was so close.
That is a painting that is to the left of my window.
I would have lost this bet. I've been getting into a little bit of a COVID hobby. I've been watching a lot of WPT, which is the World Poker Tour. Don't ask me why. I have a smart TV. It has like fake TV, you know, not cable, just a TV app on the TV, and it's got channels. One of them is the Poker Tour channel. I also like to watch the Racing channel by oh Jesus, what's the brand? They plaster it all over, but it's like dirt races, like, you know, funny cars and things like that. They're always turning left, but it's funny. And we're watching poker, so I started learning a little bit of poker, and I've got like the zany poker thing on there, and I'm trying to, like, you know, understand the hands, and I'm watching a lot of ads to get chips because I keep losing them. And I refuse to pay for chips, so I'll just watch the ads and get them 500 chips at a time, 500,000. Just keep playing that way. Like, I have no shame. I don't care. It's fine. But it's been kind of fun, so I'm getting into that mind of it. I like the mind game of poker. I don't want to lose or win money, really. The wife is good at blackjack, but aside from that, I'm not about it. So you've been interior decorating. I've been doing poker. What is it like? Why is that fun for you? That's just, you just like to change it up? You just like change, or?
Well, so I actually, my mom was an interior designer and contractor growing up.
Oh, there it is.
And so she was doing that my whole life, just like always redecorating her home. And then she had a contracting business when I was in middle school and high school. And so all of high school, my summer job was helping out with the family business. I would go and the most intense was probably it was either laying thin set and putting down tile in a kitchen, or being 2 stories up on a ladder painting the exterior of a home and
easy choice.
Most intense experiences I had, and it was super enjoyable and rewarding. And I just my mom always just instilled in me the way a home looks makes you feel different. It makes you feel good or feel bad.
True.
And so when I was I spend all of my time in my home versus before very little time in my home, that's way more important.
Yeah.
And so
do you have any projects you're waiting on, or you've changed some stuff, you've painted? What's the next project you've got going on right now?
Right now it's actually just it's baubles, man. It's the weirdest thing, but it's odds and ends.
Odds and ends.
I've got a thrift store across the street. I'll walk over there.
Oh, dope.
And, man, I'm looking for candlestick holders.
Oh man, get out of here.
I'm looking for candlestick holders, man. What are you doing with candlestick holders?
What are you having, a fancy dinner?
Candlestick holders.
You having vampire dinner over there, Woody?
1, yes. 2, candlestick holders are great everywhere.
Right.
But you didn't realize that mirror you mentioned, that red stuff, that's a candle. It's a candlestick mirror.
Wow. Okay. Candlestick holders. You see, I'm learning all the time. I'm gonna ask everybody.
Candlestick holders.
Damish is building keyboards. You're buying candlestick holders and redesigning your entire house. Okay, I'm keeping up.
It's the odds and ends. I got stoked recently. I bought this little metal wire case thing for records.
Oh, dope.
Because I've got a record player.
You got a record player?
Dude, it's a dope record player. It's like a stereo record player. I'll send you a photo.
Send me a photo of this record player.
It's like the stereo cabinet style record players.
Does it have is it one of the ones that has the multi-stack where you can put multiple records on it?
Yeah, but I have no idea how to do that.
Oh my god, dude, figure that shit out, because we have a couple of those at my job, and we have 2 of them. It's amazing. It's amazing, because I was always like, how do people listen to records? They're so short comparatively to what we have today, just autoplay on loop forever. Like, how do you keep? They have these stacks, and I'm like, oh my god, you can stack up 10 records and just there's your whole. That's 2 hours right there, just music from record players. It's amazing. You got to figure that out. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to figure that out. It works with why I really like records is because you do have to listen to the entire side.
Yeah, it's nice.
And so when most of the way that you listen to music and consume music is by song, your friend sends you a YouTube link, or you use Spotify or Apple or whatever and you're just searching through, and it's just on shuffle on your Discover. It's just song by song by song by song by song, and you're not experiencing music in an artist-oriented way, which means that you're not experiencing music in a way that lends itself to trying to go to live music. because like if you like who like if I hear a song I really like and I'm like that song's rad, and then I never listen to the band, I'm not gonna go see them live when they come to town.
No, not at all.
Listen to an album, I'm gonna, and so that way now that I collect records and like do that, whenever I hear a song by an artist and I'm like that song's really cool, I check out the artist more frequently. And then if I really like that album, you know, maybe I'll buy the record, and then now I'm consuming that physical media, which is one, super important for giving payment directly to your artist.
Right. Yep.
Because I'm a culprit of using like Spotify Premium.
Everybody's got it.
It's just the easiest way for me to consume it. But none of those royalties are going back to the artist. And so you've got to be making sure that you give them money some way. And the best way to do that is direct payment. The second best way is buying merch. The third best way is going to their show.
That's insane that you collect records. Everyone has a thing. I thought it was interior designing, but you collect records, and that's not cheap. Collect records are expensive when you're trying to get into the mint and getting this type of thing and really building out the library, because it's hard to go do the thrift store deep dive. Everyone's done it at their local record store, but man, it's like, I really want that album, that Bob Marley, that one. And you can search for it for 10 years, or you can just like get it. So I feel like some of that comes into, and you're absolutely right. Like if you're listening to music, it's way different. What record have you like, what's like in your collection, something new you've got? It's like album worthy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So mostly I listen to like newer music that's like coming out, and that's like most of the records that I collect. So easily my favorite record right now is one that I bought last year, and it's by a band called Illuminati Hotties, and it's titled Free IH.
Okay. I haven't heard of the band.
Illuminati Hotties, they market themselves as...
Oh, we got a second commercial break coming up here. This is the almost in part. Almost in, not quite in, but almost in. I want to hear that Illuminati Hottie story in a little bit here. Gonna get Woody back in. There he is. All right, let me pull you back over. This is commercial break number 2. We're getting to the end. This is good. I want to hear about this Illuminati Hotties though. Hang on.
My favorite band. I'm so excited to talk about it. John Young's gonna be pissed.
Into the format now. It's kind of working. I'm getting a sense of it. You know what I mean? So you're pulling that in.
Oh yeah.
Illuminati Hotties. You're telling us all about the jams, the albums.
We're back on.
We're back on. We're back on. It's like it's so short.
I can't see you on my end.
Oh well, shit. Did I not push my button?
I don't know if your stream can.
I didn't push my button. Hang tight. Let's go to this one. Let's go to the one where it shows all the damn production. People like this camera. They like it a lot.
I'm sure. You know what's funny is I was watching a little bit of Damash's recently. Oh, I don't think he can hear me. If anyone else can hear me.
There we go.
I was watching some of Damash's interview recently, and that exact hiccup happened where he was like, "Oh, I'm not sure if your stream can see you, but I can't."
Yeah. Well, I told you for the show. There's always at least one. This time it was the internet wasn't plugged in the right thing. Toshi called my Woody tech support. The internet wasn't plugged in the right place. And then the phone thing, the switcher. Jesus, it's always something. But you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So talking about this record, you got this thing, this Illuminati Hotties, you pulled it in. Why that one? That's just the newest one you've gotten, or where does that come from? You like the band? Or you seen them live?
Yeah. Or so Illuminati Hotties is my favorite band, period, by far. It's not even close.
Oh, lucky you!
I love them so much, and it is wild because their first album came out in I think 2018. So like
first album?
Very new.
Wow, yeah.
They released 2 albums, and one of them was in 2020. So now you see exactly why I was excited. Because I listened to Illuminati Hotties in 2018, and I was like, oh, this is the kind of music I like. It was like that level of experience where I was like, oh, this is before I used to say things were my favorite.
Right.
I was wrong. This by a landslide, and I want to listen to only stuff that sounds like this for the rest of my life.
Right.
Wow. I instantly fell in love.
That's wild.
Yeah. It has changed. Discovering Illuminati Hotties has changed the way that I consume music, because I'm just like, anything that sounds like this, awesome.
That's a high bar, man. That's crazy.
It is very high. It is very.
I feel like I want to go listen to it now just to see if it'll change my perspective on music, but I'm scared. I really like Daft Punk. Yeah. I don't know.
It's one of those feelings that, like, I don't think everyone gets that moment where they're like, oh, this and nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love that band. They came out with an album in 2018. I didn't discover them, I think, until a few months after it came out. I think they came out with it in like the summer of 2018. I discovered it in like the December, or maybe it might have been after the new year in like January, February.
Okay.
But so like it was like 6 to 9 months after the album came out, I found it, and I just like fell in love. And so for like a year and a half, they haven't come out with anything new, and I only got to see them live once.
Dang.
Which is amazing. But I've just been like, I want way more of this music, and I want to see you way more often.
The burn, man.
They went through a huge hiccup in the release of their second album, an enormous hiccup, which is another band that I really, really love, called Adult Mom.
Okay.
Went public about having very, very negative experiences with their record label, Tiny Engine.
I feel like I've heard of Tiny Engine.
Yeah, they do a lot of like these indie, like small indie rock bands.
Okay. Reminds me of like Tiny Desk in NPR.
Oh yeah. But Adult Mom went public with the fact that they've been in negotiations that have been stalled out time and time again for years, trying to leave their relationship with Tiny Engines. Yeah. And that Tiny Engines was withholding their masters from them. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting is that for anyone who's like, I don't know what's going on, maybe you remember the Taylor Swift controversy.
Which one?
Last year. So about her masters. She had this whole thing where her old record label was holding on to her masters, and that happened in like the middle of last year. It was so interesting because it was like, wait, I know everything about this. My small indie band was just complaining about this. Wait, people that make millions of dollars deal with that too? What's happening in the music industry? Yeah. But so when that happened, everyone abandoned Tiny Engines. Like, everyone condemned them. Mm-hmm. A bunch of artists came out saying, I've had the same experience with Tiny Engines. Oh, okay. And snowballed. This isn't good for me. And so there were like suddenly a half dozen accounts of that, if not more. And then so a bunch of bands who were currently signed with Tiny Engines and having like good relationships with them were like, I gotta go to somebody else. Like, you don't get to produce you're not mastering my next album over this. Like, those are my friends. It's a small community. Right. Of this everyone knows everyone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's like, I'm out. And one of those bands was Illuminati Hotties. Funky. Who's currently working on LP2, and they came out publicly like that this is messed up and we're breaking ties with Tiny Engines. And so what's interesting is Sarah Tudson, the front person of Illuminati Hotties, has been on record a number of times talking about how they approached Free IH, because it's Free IH, and so I.H. being Free Illuminati Hotties, and the subtitle is "This is not the one you were waiting for."
Specific. Okay.
And there's so many songs in the album that specifically talk about how, like, they broke away from Tiny Engines. Oh my gosh. The deal, I read an interview, the deal was Tiny Engines wouldn't produce, or would like get some royalties and some money. Okay. It was like a split revenue deal for their next album release. Oh man. So Sarah's response.
So they're talking to them directly.
Yeah, well, Sarah's response was, you don't get any of the songs I've been working on for years. I'm writing an album, I'm releasing it in 3 months, and we're ending this, and I'm doing a limited sales. and then I'm moving on to my project alone.
And all of the songs are just about Tiny Engine, and they're bullshit.
And they touch on it in like light-hearted, clearly prodding ways.
Right.
There's like a line where like before like any scene starts, she's just like being very conversational, and she's like, the show's about to get started, something like that, and then she says, so hold on to your masters, folks.
Oh no.
You like hold on to your seats, but your masters, like the thing that they couldn't get back.
Oh no.
I was like, this is so funny. But the whole point was just like, I do this, I sell this many records, and then it's over. I'm never, like, and she was so upfront about it. She's like, I'm never reprinting these. If you like this, if you want my music, you have to buy it now, because I'm never reprinting these. Because if I ever reprint them, Tiny Engines gets the money.
Right. Damn. So you have this record.
I have that record.
Holy hell! What a fucking story.
I think it's such a power move. It's so.
Oh like, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, we made a deal. Cool. I'm gonna release LP 1.5. You know?
Yeah. See you later.
And what's rad about it is, it honestly feels like a mixtape that you'd see in like hip hop or rap, like where the songs don't flow together the way like rock albums always do. You know, you always think of like rock albums, they like they tell stories sometimes, or like a cohesive whole. And so it was like, nah, these are 9 songs. There you go. And it was cool because she comes from a background in producing and mastering music herself, and she did some of that work in the hip hop and R&B community, and she's a huge fan of hip hop and R&B, and so she's just like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm like they do it there and it works. Why if rock music did it, would it not work?
It's a format, man. As long as the content's good, like as long as the content's good, the songs are good, people like them. Nothing has to. It doesn't have to be coherent. Like it doesn't have to flow A to B to C, C to D. Like, jump around. You know, like the song says, jump around. Get up, and get down. Let me hit you with this. We're getting to the close. This has been hella fun. I always like I feel like the big mission before the show at least ends is I love to see what are these people passionate about? Like what makes them tick? Because I know it makes me tick. I know the thing that I could just talk to you for hours about. It's video games. But like, you know, what makes people tick and this and seeing how many of those things layer up and figure out. Because like, I'll be honest, even like you and I, within the scope of the game, I have probably interacted with you only at Bumble Bash 4. I've heard of you, but I don't think I've never.
When you came to Chicago, we hung out when you came to Chicago.
When I came to Chicago, that was also part of it too. I think that was that before or after? Damn, that was before. That was before. That was in like the summer or something. No tournament. That was fun.
I was going to say probably 3 times. Bumble Bash 4 in Chicago, and I just figured there was another tournament. We were in a shared space.
Maybe something. Maybe somewhere in there. Hive Hustle.
We didn't chat.
Right.
Because again, you talked about it earlier. You were like on the competitive.
Mission. Yeah.
I'm taking it seriously. I was the same way at tournaments. So like when 2 people are both like on the track. It's like you're not gonna. Those 2 people are not gonna be the ones that end up shooting the shit together.
No. Well, I'll see you on the track, and I'm trying to learn some stuff. But you were getting to that. I would have never pegged you. I mean, it makes sense. Like everyone's into music. Sam's Felix. You know, we were talking about their record player, dope ass record player they've got. And I've got a record player. I show one of my records, my Future Funk. One of their buddies sent me a playlist, which. Incidentally, it's on Spotify, but it's got like a lot of the songs I already have in my favorites. We were talking about Celeste a bunch and just like all this stuff. And music's dope. You know, music's cool. So it's like, okay, no, if I ever see Woody in person again, I'm going to ask him, what did you add to your collection? And, it's just another thing I've got to learn and figure out about people. And I think that's really cool because it's a thing we share in common. But I would be remiss if I ended the episode and I didn't ask a question that I asked Damish. Which you saw his episode, so I'll sing the same question to you. You're in coming back to Killer Queen Arcade. You're in Chicago. You put a team together. You busted your ass. I've heard the legends of the training year that you put yourself through. Crazy. You and Lancaster are both crazy. I didn't know that he did that whole like boot camp in Chicago and in New York and just like doing around, but it makes perfect sense. He's crazy good. You had a similar thing, just training up and moving from a space where like you're good, but you're not considered to be like the best queen, to being considered to be the best queen. And like there was a track that you took to get to that point. It didn't like just happen, you know, like you had to work at it and learn how. So, and then building a team of players that can work together. So the question is, at the height of where things were competitively and how things went, because I remember the games from BB4, do you think that Chicago winning BB4 has shifted the game into a style like Damish thinks? He thinks that the Chicago style is going to take over in terms of being more willing to take risks, more willing to play outside the box, and not relying so much on the tried and true New York style, which has always kind of been this. No one's ever really described it well. I've heard words like robotic, tried and true, bread and butter, safer, you know, is kind of the gist, versus Chicago has been like the crazier, you know, the more wild, the riskier, the flashier, whatever you want to call it, these differences, right? There's dichotomies, and you guys are on the end of the spectrum. So do you feel like that was a turning point, or do you think New York just had a bad day? Do you think that the styles between those two places, one of them will inevitably be more dominant than the other? Or do you think that's just how it played out at BB4 between you and the New York team?
That's a really, really good question. And I think it's kind of one that has been had for years. Because it's always been this way. You know, Chicago has played New York in every Bone Lash since BB2, 3 out of the 4 of them. And the vibe is always like those Chicago players. If you put one of the Chicago players and one of the New York Warriors like on the cabinet and just had them fight each other for fun, right? You would see an edge in the Chicago Warriors' favor. There would be a slight edge in the Chicago Warrior favor. Was typically the dynamic. That said, the New York teams play this like very facilitatory queen style that empowers their players to operate in extremely efficient ways. Which I think gets a lot of attention, but what I think doesn't get talked about just as much is that no one is better at the average level. Like the average player from a given scene, no scene is as good as the like tactical, technical, zoning, and pincer mechanics as New York. New York's middling players that you're like, oh yeah, they play the game, are way better at knowing where to be than some of the best warriors from other scenes.
That makes sense.
That entire scene plays the game in a way that they understand how to move things. I have spent hours looking at New York being like, how do they move Snail so well in the middle section of Nightmap?
Yeah.
When the Snail's like off the rope and trying to get out of there.
Yeah, that sucks.
So well. And the thing is that if you don't have that level of strategy and cohesion, it doesn't matter if you can like win most of the solo kills. Because that team is rebuilding and reforming and pushing objective in such a meaningful way that your lives are both more expensive to reform than theirs, but they're also more likely to lose their lives because you have to deny an objective.
Right.
And so their snail push is just incredible. Their survivability is incredible. It's unparalleled without a doubt. I think at the highest end, what you're going to see is, and I think this is what my team pushed actually at KQ30, is the concept of authorized aggression.
Authorized aggression, okay.
Authorized aggression. That rather than everyone, like Chicago in the past has been very like play focused, like here comes the moment. Like we're facilitating the board state, here's the time to strike. And New York has oftentimes been just like very facilitatory and like we're working together to move this thing along. And I think the right dynamic is going to be playing basically New York style with this. At this moment, you have enough pressure to meaningfully do something aggressive, something very strike oriented.
It's a shift.
And the only time, yeah, but it's like we're full up, they have 2, you get to go hard.
Right.
And like, I mean, the most clear example of this is the enemy team is wiped and you're running lockout.
Right.
Someone has to be the warrior that flies underneath the gate and kills the drone.
Yeah.
That is authorized aggression. That is you saying, in order to stop this, one of you has to do something very aggressive, and oftentimes it's something very foolish,
right,
and like risky, right? But it doesn't matter. That life is not as important as your life,
right?
And so at Killer Queen 30, we saw Andrew Wilkening take the role of this. I think we started to call it the leverage warrior, which is basically like in these like equilibriums of 3 mil versus 3 mil, someone needs to be doing some playmaking stuff. Mm-hmm. And Wilk was the one that was looking for just like aggressive plays on the queen, or like going for more like horizontal pincers where you take, like if 2 queens get bumped, one of them is in bump stun and unable to turn, and so the warrior will hit their back while they're still stunned, get a horizontal pincer. That tech, it's like you can't have